Do you enjoy creating summer scrapbook pages but often feel overwhelmed by the bright patterns and prints? Hello everyone, Miss Carrie here. Today I plan to inspire you with this awesome page design, and as I create this, I'll share some tips for using pattern papers in your collection. On today's project, I will be using the Seaside Escape Kit from Not Just for Boys Kit Club. This is a great collection for summer. There are bold patterns from Echo Park, vintage travel designs from 49 and Market, and softer outdoor mountain prints from Coco Vanilla. The kit also includes a set of puffy alphas, wherever chipboard words and phrases, great escape die cuts, and a 12x12 beach-themed sticker sheet. As I create today's project, I'll bring in a few additional supplies. As always, I encourage you to use what you have in your collection, but if you would like a list of the items I'm using, I've added links to each product in the description below, along with a link to this kit. I have this adorable beach photo of our niece that I'm using, and I'll bring in some of the patterns from the kit to place behind the photo. When I'm working with multiple patterns, especially bolder ones, I find that it's best to start with a neutral base. I often select a plain or light colored background in a soft color like white, cream, beige, soft gray, or blue. This tones down the vibrancy of the patterns I use. I also try to stick to a limited color palette of 2 or 3 hues. For this page, I've chosen 3 colors that complement the photo: blue, red, and yellow. When I'm using multiple patterns and prints like this, I try to use them sparingly. For this page, I placed the softer blue pattern in the background, and I layered the bolder prints over the top in smaller strips. This allows those patterns to add interest to my page without overwhelming it. And now that I have these all laid out, I'm going to add a small amount of mixed media to my layout. In the May Limoncello kit, we received a fossilized amber distress crayon, but I didn't have a chance to show you how to use it. These are actually very simple to work with. Distress crayons are vibrant pigments, so if you want that look, you can color right over the stencil. With all the bright colors I already added to the page, I want this to have a softer feel, so I'm going to scribble on my silicone mat and pick up the color with a foam pouncer. These are very versatile mediums. You can use them like watercolors, create smudged backgrounds, and color in your images. They are also water reactive, which allows you to create even more effects on your projects. They can be blended with distress inks and stains, so you can mix and match your Ranger collection. They also dry permanent on a project, so you don't need to worry about sealing these when you're done. As you can see, I added some water to the pigment to create some splatters, and now I'm going to bring in a second stencil to create some dimension. This chicken wire stencil reminds me of a fishing net, so I'm going to use it to bring some texture to my page. In a recent live stream, I shared some tips for working with texture paste and delicate stencils. I've discovered that a silicone tool like this does a much better job than a palette knife. If you're interested in watching that live stream, I'll add a link to the description below. Off camera, I distressed the edges of the white background and adhered it to the center of the Surf's Up pattern paper. I'm going to add a little distressing to the other patterns as well. I want to create a torn edge on this larger blue piece, so I've brought in a water brush. I find that I have more control over the torn edges when my paper is wet. I can draw a line with the water brush and tear right along it for a nice finished edge. The remaining pieces will be distressed with an edge distresser. This little tool here has a blade in the center, and when I run the paper in the grooves, it roughs up the edges. The more pressure I place on the tool, the more tears I get in the paper. As I add these to the page, I would love it if you took a moment to tap the subscribe button, thumbs up icon, or add a short comment below. Your comments are always appreciated, and I do enjoy answering your questions. I'm going to be using journaling cards for the photo. I rarely use the printed cards for my stories. More often than not, I use these as photo frames or accents on a page. Behind this photo, I'm going to use the soft sand colored one. It matches the sand in the photo perfectly. I'm also going to cut out this bright yellow square. In the background, I have yellow in the mixed media and a yellow paper strip, so this third element will help lead the eye across the page. Off camera, I added some stitching to the paper strips, and I added a scallop border to bring a little femininity to the page. The solid cardstock color is a great division between the busy patterns and my mixed media. Now I'm going to bring in that Echo Park sticker sheet and select a few items for the layout. Again, I want to keep my color palette at a minimum as I add these pieces to the page. I'm going to add this title here that says Vacation Vibes. Above it, I'm going to add some surfboards in yellow, blue, red, and tan. I also really love this little sand bucket, so I'm going to place it right here. I need to bring a few patterns to this side of the page, but I don't want them to distract from the photo. These little banner pieces are perfect for my design. They're going to create a visual triangle with the printed patterns, and the colors on the banners are ones that I've selected for my page. Now it always takes me a moment to get the banners just right. I don't know about you, but I really struggle with the curvature and the spacing. Thank goodness I placed these on some little pieces of foam tape. It makes it so much easier to move them around. Alright, now that I have those in place, I'm going to add this little lifesaver at the top of the photo. I'm going to match that circular shape and color design with a little beach ball over here. I think I'm done with the brighter colors on the sticker sheet. I feel like I need to add a few softer hues to tone this down. So I'm going to bring in those little phrases and place this little arrow at the top here. I want to add a word below the sticker title in the same color. I think adventure works better for this page, and it creates the look of a horizontal grounding element underneath the photo. On the packaging, I saw a phrase that says "chase the sun," and I want to use that for my page, but I can't find it anywhere in this collection. I'm going to keep digging through this massive set of words and phrases off camera, and then I'll share the finished page with you. I did find the phrase that I wanted to use, and I placed it right above that title. It ended up on my desk under a pile of pattern papers. I'm guessing that it fell out when it was dumped into the tray. It was the perfect addition to this title, and it allowed me to bring a little more yellow to my design. You may have noticed that I left quite a bit of white space on this page. That was intentional because with all those bold colors and prints, the eye needs a place to rest. It did feel a little off balance though, so I added a stitched circle over here on the right. This helped frame the photo and added some weight to this side of the layout. My goal today was to demonstrate how you can incorporate vibrant summer patterns and prints into your scrapbooking projects. I shared my tips on selecting a color scheme, blending various patterns, and using sections of large pattern paper to create interest in your designs. I also highlighted the significance of incorporating texture and white space on your layouts. Remember, the key is to enjoy creating with those summer patterns as you record your memories. I want to thank you for joining me today. If you have any questions about this project or the supplies I used, feel free to post those in the comments below. I hope that you have a wonderful week, and I can't wait to see what you create.